Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Friday Reads. Whew, it's hot. And I've been ripping and running this afternoon. So I had some tea with friends and I just made it back in time Friday. So I'm going to break open some cold Badois because I'm parched. All right. In France, all the bottles, the cap has to stay connected to the bottle like that. I hate it. But anyway, whatever. All right. So let's get on. Mm, refreshing. Okay, so welcome, welcome. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Alicia, Tracy, in the house. Welcome to everybody. Happy Friday. And to all of those who are not commenting, happy Friday to you too. Hope you're having a good one. God, my glasses are just. Um, hope your Friday is going well. As you can see, it's still really light here. It's six, well after six. So what am I reading? All right, so that's a little complex. I am reading this one right here, which is The Life and Times of a Caged Bird by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. And I'm buddy reading this with Patrice Jones. This has turned out to be a bit more dense than I expected. So this is gonna really mess up my reading a little bit, my fiction reading a little bit this month. And it might take me over a month to read it because it's just that dense. I've gotten to the end of chapter one. I'm about to start chapter two. It's pretty dense, but it's good. It's good all the same. So I'm reading that. I'm trying to finish off the Lost Love Songs of Boise Sing, but I still have like a good almost 200 pages. This is over 500 pages. This is really good as well, but this is fiction by Ingrid Pelso. This is her sophomore book, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. A little bit trauma laden, but I'm still loving it. And I've only started the very beginning of The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips, which is a buddy read over on IG. But I've been having a hard time getting to it the way I want to because I got this on the burner. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be going with The Darkest Child if I'm actually going to get through the whole thing. But I may have to put it off until next month or something. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes because I have other things to read this month as well. So we're gonna see, but this is pretty much what I'm working with right here. This is what I'm working with. Some big chunkers. All right, so let's see what you guys got going on. Oh, hello, lady. How are you? Oh, thanks, Tracy. Hey, 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 Latrice. How are you? Mm, so, how is everybody on this lovely Friday? So, this is mid year where usually people do the mid year freak out tag and all of that. I usually don't do the mid year freak out tag, but I'm kind of feeling like I need to do it so that I can like take stock of what I've read so far and what I actually really need to be focusing on for the second half of the year. This month is going to be probably not so good. Last month was not very good either. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can make up for things in the month of August. I'm just not really sure. Let's see. Latrice says she's doing well. Yeah, no, I'm not really doing as well as I'd like doing. I mean, like as far as quantity of books read, it's correct, but like this mid-year has been really difficult. June was really difficult, and now July is turned out to be very difficult. I'm doing too many things, and so it's not easy for me to take on too much, and I've probably taken bitten off way too much more than I can chew. So I'm gonna blame it on that. But like I said, we're gonna try to make it work. We're gonna try to we can do. Hey, I'm a Lola. How are you? Sharon is currently reading River. Oh yeah, I read that last month. That's real good. Yeah, that was real good. I read it last month, and I really liked it. I thought it was a good book. Um, hey Celeste, how are you? Alicia said, started The Darkest Child and I can't put it down. I really want to fight the mama. Yeah, I read like the first two chapters and I want to fight her. You know that's bad when you only read two chapters, you want to fight a character. Like, how bad must she really be? Hello, Miss Virtue. Welcome. What are you reading? I like your thumbnail is cute. Um Latrice is reading Caucasia by Danny Senza, going to start The Darkest Child next week. And maybe get into This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan this week. Yeah, a lot of people find this good. This Could Be Us. Tracy said she's reading Darkest Child for the read along. Okay. Mrs. Wiggins by Mary Monroe from my local book club. Okay. And Daniel Dapper Dan's memoir. Oh yeah, I have that one on my TBR. I would love to read that. Okay, Amalota says she has 4 books on the go. Paul Morris. Oh, I'm scared to read that one. I'm scared. The Darkest Child, Go Tell It on the Mountain, and a reread of Love and Color. Okay, very nice. For the what you got to say about Paul Maris, but I'm scared of that book. After I saw so many bad reviews for it, I was like, oh shit, I maybe shouldn't have bought this one. Um, okay, go tell them your first Baldwin and you love it. I'm not surprised you love it. It's Baldwin. Duh. That's all I'm gonna say. Duh. I haven't read Go Tell It on the Mountain yet, but I've read If Beale Street Could Talk. What was the other one I read? Our Next Time. Um, Another Country. What else have I read? I can't remember. Some else. I read a couple of other ones from him as well. Jimmy's Blues, I think, is the poetry collection. I've read a lot of James Baldwin already, but I still have a lot left to read too. Okay, so Miss Virtue is reading The Hunger Games. Okay. Billy is reading Children of Anguish and Anarchy and Hours. Okay, very nice. Welcome, Raymond. Raymond is reading The Darkest Child, of course. He's reading Hours and 50 Years and Other Poems by James Olin Johnson. Okay, very nice. Okay, welcome, Birdie. Birdie is reading. Oh, she's going to start reread Sense and Sensibility tonight. Ooh, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Lady is reading Hurricane Summer. Celeste DNF Maris. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. I'm like that Paul Maris is like on the top shelf in the bookshelf that I have down here. And every time I open up that thing, I see that Paul Maris there, and I just start looking somewhere else. My eye just goes like this. It start darting around, looking somewhere else. Cause like, I don't know about this Paul Maris now, because it did not get good reviews. It got like scathing reviews. Or and gave it away. Child, she went out of house. Get it out of my house. Would have kept it to come back for another chance. Child, I don't know if it's worth another chance, but anyway, whatever. Amalola says Palmera may not be the book for me. I don't think it's look, if you want my opinion, I feel like if you haven't read Corregidora and you haven't read Eva's Man, then what the hell are you looking for Palmeras for? Stop reading the Palmeras and grab your Corregidora and your Eva's Man. Those are the ones crucial works from Gail Jones, in my opinion. You want to see where it goes? Yeah, no, because I feel like I watched a review on, I think it was on BookTube here on YouTube, and I can't remember the name of the young woman who did the review, but she was Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken, and she talked about how inaccurate Paul Maris was, that it was scathingly inaccurate and it was embarrassingly inaccurate. Um, it's kind of based on something that is historical, but I don't understand why she didn't stick to the accuracy and of her own. But anyway, I'll just say hats off to you if you can get through the Palmaris. I'm not even gonna try, and I bought the book because I love me some Gail Jones, but I like the good Gail Jones. That's just me. So we're waiting to hear what you got to say, Amalula. Teresa says she's reading Darkest Child for the read along. Oof. Bedrock Faith. Oh, I love Bedrock Faith. Oh, so good. Yeah, Stupot is crazy. Madness, Race, and Insanity in a General Asylum. It's good. Yes, very, very good. Okay, and Tracy says she read 40 pages of Paul Merritt and put it down and never got back to it. I'm not surprised. Hey Rosa, how you doing? What you reading? Or what you listening to? Teresa says she DNF Palmera too. Yeah, you see, I'm not surprised. After I saw that chick's, review, which her review was thorough. It was very, very good. I bet you if you tapped in Paul Maris in the search engine here on YouTube, that video is going to come up because it had a lot of views, a lot of views on it. So yeah. Raymond says I'm reading chapter 13. Okay, so I guess you're talking about The Darkest Child. Ah, Brazilian Heritage. Okay, well, you might want to read another book for the Brazilian Heritage because it's inaccurate. Yeah, Bedrock Face is such a good book. Rosa says The Healing. I have The Healing as well. I haven't read it though yet, but I have The Healing, and I also have the other one that's called what, like Mosquito Road or something. Mosquito something or other. I can't remember what it's called. I have those two as well, and I have a couple of new ones. One is a short story collection that just came out a couple of years ago called Butter, and then I have another one called I don't remember what the other one is called. There's another one. I can't remember what the other one is called. Let me think. Gail Jones. Recommendations on historical Brazil. I don't know about historical Brazil. Not confident on that subject, but I know that Paul Maris ain't it because it's not. But there must be. There aren't any Brazilian bookstagrammers. Or maybe search here on YouTube and put in Brazilian bookstagram and see what comes up. Something might come up. I think what that other one is by Gail Jones that I have. I think Butter is short story collection. I think it is. Let's see. There's another one called Mosquito. That's it. And the other new one is The Bird Catcher, which I have not read yet. I have it, but I haven't read it yet. The Bird Catcher is new, and there's another one called Bug. It's Noella Stories and Fragments. Now, there's one that I've been dying to read. It's an old one, which is from 1977. It's called White Rat by Gail Jones. It's short stories. It's almost impossible to find. So I don't know if they're going to redo that one or not, but I would love to read that one. And eventually I'll get to this Mosquito because I have a used copy of Mosquito and I have a used copy of The Healing as well. So for me, I would be looking for a copy of White Rat if I could find one. I don't think I'm going to be able to. And there's another one here called Song for Aida and Song for Aninu. And it came out in 20. Oh, it's poetry. It came out in 2022, but I don't remember hearing about that one. It looks like this by Gail Jones. Song for Almeida and Song for Anino by Gail Jones. Poetry. Didn't know about that one. So I don't know if anybody else had heard about that one. Mm, the Unicorn Woman comes out in August. Okay, I hadn't heard about that one. Let's see if I can pick it up here on the Unicorn Woman. Do I actually see the Unicorn Woman? Mm, okay, well, she's written a poetry collection about the characters called Song Almeida and Song for Anino. Oh, you really liked it, Babel. Let me just see if I can find it another way. Um, what did you just call? Let's see, the Unicorn Woman. Hmm, okay, I see it here. Let's see. Okay, the Unicorn Woman. It's historical fiction. It says making a dramatic new direction for Jones, a riveting tale set in post World War II South, narrated by a black soldier who returns to Jim Crow and searches for a mythical ideal. Set in 1950s. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It already has 3.43 stars, so sounds like it's just okay. Let's see if anybody I know has actually read it. Somebody put plotting and no story at all. Somebody, I call Andre. I'm not sure about this one. Not much of a story here. Her writing is up to par, but the tale seems corny. Still fleshing out my complete thoughts. He gave it a 3 star. Uh, okay, so there you have it. It's just right here. Let's see if I can get it so you can actually see it. I haven't talked about this one, but that the unicorn, it's called unicorn. I don't know. It doesn't sound that interesting when I read the what do you call it, the synopsis. I'm just like, I don't really care. Let's see. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna need to do, I have to give it a week, Teresa. And then I'll be able to catch up and get in with the group. But I can't this week, it's just not possible. There's too much going on. So what I'll probably do is catch up with you guys when I'm like, I don't know, the second week or something. I'll catch up with you and I'll be able to go in the group chat. No fails. Don't worry. Don't give up on me yet. Okay, so Rosa said, still reading and loving Read Until You Understand by Sarah Jacqueline Griffin. Unless something goes really wrong in these last pages, it's going to be a 5. Oh, very nice. Hey, Nicole, happy Friday. Happy Friday, Joss Ryder. Okay. Mm. Nicole, oh, Nicole's still reading Invisible Man. Go ahead, hang in, girl, with that. Invisible Man is not a fast read. It's one you like really gotta let it marinate. It's one of those kind of books. Okay, hello Curtis, welcome. Happy Friday. Currently reading Triumph: The Untold Story of Jesse Owens. Ooh, that's probably real good. And it's Olympic by Jeremy Shop. And also reading The Last Thing You Yes, The Last Thing You Surrender. Yes, 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 yes. Don't forget 54 Miles is coming out the end of July. So you're gonna be right on it, Curtis. Right when you finish The Last Thing You Surrender, you're ready to right into 54 Miles. So that's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so now that we've pretty much talked about what everybody has been reading, let's see. Mm, okay, so Nicole watched Daughters of the Dust and is inspired to read. Oh, okay, Sassafras, Cypress, and Indigo. Yeah, I really like that book. That was a book back in the day. I read that in college. Really liked it. That was one of my first introductions into Soki Shange, was Sassafras, Cypress, and Indigo, and of course Colors as well. Lex said, I'm reading Some Love, Some Pain, Some Time. Ooh, that's a good one. By J. California Cooper. You can never go wrong with the J. California Cooper. Mm. Yeah, go get your 54 miles. Get it while you can. Mm. It'll be out, I think it's the 26th of July, I think it'll be out. So I'm excited about that. Very excited about 54 miles. Um, I was listening to a podcast episode the other day. Let me see if I can remember the name of the podcast. And they were talking to this one writer. He was Hispanic, and they were talking about his book. His book is called Victim. Josh Ryder says, really enjoyed Lesson You Surrender. Finished Parable of the Sower and enjoyed it. Currently reading Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Sounds all good. And this podcast episode, it was really good because they were asking him questions about being, like a Hispanic writer and how, he was approached about, his book and about writing and stuff. And at one point, the guy was saying that the publishers kept trying to, say, oh, well, you should write from your experience. We really want to hear that, your experience. So when I was listening to this podcast episode, it started making me think about some of the younger Black writers. I mean, young in the sense of, you know, debut writers. I mean, they can be whatever age they want, but they can be debut writers. Talking about it, it made me think that it's possible that with the the young Black debut writers, those debut writers, they're getting enticed into writing specific stories because that's what the public wants them to write more so than what that writer to write. And it made me think I was thinking about it all day, and it kind of made me mad after a while. It made me really mad because I was thinking, so now you can't be a writer, have written a book, or at least written half of one or a quarter of one, have it be really, really good, and then have a publishing company just want to publish a book and love your book for what it is. They're always going to want to make you objectify you through, the way you're writing your book and make like, oh well, we want to hear about these experiences and things like that. um it's annoying to me because it really shows how we have not advanced, like we have not advanced one inkling on this particular subject matter. Annoying to me, so annoying. So annoying. Yeah, it's very similar to that. The podcast episode, let me see if I can see what the name of that podcast episode was. This is a podcast I listen to every now and then when I get a chance because I like it. They introduce me to books I don't know. Um, yeah, it's Sarah's Bookshelves Live. And this is episode 166. And the guy is Andrew Borga. Boriga. And his book is called Victim. Um, and it was very interesting conversation I had with this man. And he talks about how he got with the same editor, not editor, what do they call him? Not an editor, the same agent as he got with the same agent as Brian Washington. So I thought that was really cool because because he said, "Oh yeah, I really am inspired by Brian Washington's writing and everything." When I heard that he had the same age, I had to approach him, to ask how this agent was, and in fact, he got with an agent who is really, or who's really like sensitive to writers, particularly writers of color. So he was really like he was really happy to be taken up by that particular agent. Let me just see if I can find this book. It's called Victim. What's the guy's name? Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So it says this is a book. It's called Victim, and it says Javier Perez is a hustler from a family of hustlers. He learns from an early age how to play the game to his own advantage, how his background, murder drug dealer dad, single cash strap mom, best friend serving time for gang activity becomes a key to door he didn't even know existed. This kind of story molded in the right way is just what college admissions committees are looking for. A full academic scholarship to prestigious university brings Javi one step closer to his dream of becoming a famous writer. As a college student, Javi embellishes his life story until there's not even a kernel of truth left. The only real connection to his past is occasional letter he trades with his childhood best friend, Gio, who doesn't seem to care about Javi's newfound awareness of privilege or the school to prison pipeline. Soon after graduating, a viral essay transforms Javi from a writer on the rise to a journalist at a legendary magazine, where the editors applaud his unique perspective. But Gio must more than anyone knows who Javi really is and sees through his game. Once he's released from prison and Javi offers to cut him in on the deal, will he play along with Javi's charade or all come crumbling down? So this book came out. I don't know when this book came out. When this book come out? Mm, 2024. It just came out March 12th, 2024. And it's called Victim. Um, it sounds like a really good book. The way they were talking about it with the guy, because it really the conversation really did mix with this idea of writing about your past and like what you know and how you write about it. And why would you have to write that in a book because someone asked you to write about it? As if though they feel like, you know, that's going to make the book interesting. It can't be interesting any way else. Yeah, it's true, but not really. If you listen to the podcast episode, you'll understand better. He does use some things from his life, but it's not true. But it does sound like a very good book, and it sounds like very in tuned to understanding about this. Had people asking him to write about his past as if though he can't write a book on his own that's interesting. He's got to embellish it with his colorful past. As a Hispanic guy growing up in Queens or something, or the Bronx or something. Um, it was an interesting conversation, and it just made me dislike the publishing industry even more, and just look at it with a side eye, because I think by now we're 2024, we should be past this crap, but we're not past it. We're just not past it yet. Yeah, I know, and they won't deviate, but here again, they keep forgetting that, there's more than one gaze on a book. It's not just one gaze. There are many people that are going to be gazing upon a book. And so they think it's a formula. All I can say is thank God they have agents like the one that he got with, because his agent sounds like she's looking for good stories that are being told well and that are being told differently. Mm, yeah, I heard about this Indian guy fabricated his whole life. Oh my God, he confessed on Reddit? I didn't know about that. Wow. Well, yeah, that's what he's pretty much asking for. He's asking for that's like, asking a blighter that comes in and say, "Oh, I want you to," like very similar to, what we see a little bit in Erasure. The guy comes in with a book, and then they're like, "But where's the ghetto? The guy growing in the ghetto, so wait, what? Like, so I have to fabricate this whole thing?" It's just, I'm like, we still doing that? Like, why? And it's just to hear the guy talk about, how there was this, and it made him kind of paranoid at times, because there were some things like he was more interested in, oh my God, are people following me on social media? Are they interested in my book? And then when the book comes out, you have everybody swarming your account, and then all of a sudden, it's past the 2 month period, so now people aren't swarming your account anymore, and then you're wondering if people are still reading your book. And he really talked about like the whole anxiety thing around, writing these days. And just for that alone, I really appreciated this particular podcast episode. Let's see. Yeah, they do. They act like people of color are monolith. That everybody come out of the ghetto, and it's like, really? No, no, man. I'm can. I mean, not all white people come out of the ghetto. Not all white people are rich. So, I mean, I don't know. It sure does, Josh Ryder. Representation of good agents tremendously, I think. That's why I feel like when people write books, so like we're in a period now where everybody thinks they can book. That's another thing. Everybody thinks that they're a writer. Everybody thinks that they can down and write a book, and they'll publish it, and it's easy to publish. It's not easy to publish a book. It's not easy to write a book. It takes time, it takes energy, honing your craft of writing. And then when you do hone your craft and you do have your good, well put together, well fleshed out story, the last thing you want to do is go lay it out in front of someone that's literally going to rape and pillage your story. And it's going to come out like something else, not at all what you thought you wanted it to be. So this idea of being patient and looking for the proper agent who's going to actually put your book in front of the right people so that, when your book gets published, it really is the book that you said that you wrote that you really wanted to write and not some figment of the imagination of the public. But I think somehow this is very difficult to maneuver if you don't have a good agent. You need a damn good agent because no, everyone everyone ain't a writer. Everybody can't write a book. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I had to say it. No, they don't. They don't even want Barry the Ghetto. You got that right, Nicole. The ghetto is not all violence and oppression. It surely is not. Yeah, we got love in the ghetto. We got love, we got friendship, we got community. Um, no, but this everybody thinking they can write a book is is another thing that's kind of killing the business as well because the more that people are writing books that are not really up to par, the more it takes away, it just floods the market. The market gets flooded with books all the time. So, we have to be careful about that. We have to be careful about what it is, when we're reading and when we're plugging and that kind of thing. Because there's so many good writers out there that get completely snubbed and ignored because they get lost in the sauce. There's just so much of it. So many books coming out that it's impossible to see, everyone. Yeah, especially not the debut. The debut writers, you only get to really see them when the publisher wants you to see them. Sometimes new books come out from, debut authors and we never really see them. They go virtually unnoticed. Why? Because the publisher has not decided to put their backing behind that book. They have not, decided to do, oh, well, let's get our list of 250 bookstagrammers and 150, TikTokers and 200, booktubers and send the books out for free. If you don't get that treatment as a debut author, you are pretty much screwed. Your book probably will not be noticed by very many people, sadly. So you may have to wind up doing your marketing yourself, which is kind of like what they did if you ever read 40 Acres. Um 40 Acres, when that book came out, it was a debut for him. And it was Simon and Schuster, I think, that took on 40 Acres from Dwayne Alexander Smith. I think it was yeah, it was. And Simon and Schuster published it, but they did virtually no publicity. I found 40 Acres because I saw on an Amazon thing. I had bought a book. You know how Amazon suggests, oh, you bought this book, then you might like these books. And I saw 40 Acres in there. When I read what it was about, I said, oh, I'm going to get this book. Certainly when I saw it was a brother that had read it, I said, I wrote it. I said, I'm going to read this book. And then when I read the book, I was like, oh, okay, I ain't doing I'm not doing no publicity, y'all. That's one. Um, but this was back in the day. So this was not when it wasn't big to be a book influencer. This was not something, there were a few people doing it, but it really wasn't like it's not what it is now. Now, they have lists of people, they send books automatically out to certain people, it's a whole thing. This was back in, I think it was 2014, like that. Mm-mm, they weren't doing that. If you were a publisher, you had to actually write the publisher and ask them, write the marketing person, say, hey, I have, I have a blog, it has this many followers. I have a YouTube or whatever. I would love to, have a review copy of this book, and then they would either send it to you, or they would be like, no, you don't have enough followers or whatever. I never had a problem with it back in the day. I was never refused a book back in the day. I've been refused books now, mostly because of where I live. But back in the day, I was never refused. I was given art copies, physical copies. I never had a problem. But the marketing wasn't to the scale that it is now. So yeah, 40 Acres is that book. Yeah, like so when I read 40 Acres, I was like, this book is good. And I did a full review on it. And it kind of like was like not a lot of people kind of like hooked onto it way. So I think a year or two passed. And then I saw another booktuber did a review of it. And when that booktuber did a review of it, people kind of perked up a little bit when they saw her review. But I still think it had trouble because of its content. But I thought it was a good book. This is the thing. This is the thing. That's why when I was listening to the podcast afterwards, it gave me that sad feeling for all of those debut writers whose books will go virtually unnoticed because the powers that be have decided that they can't come in the light and they can't get recognized. And that's kind of sad to me. Um, and it's also not very encouraging for writing in general. It's difficult. And people who take it upon themselves to self-publish, look, I ain't got nothing against self-publishing. If you can get that work for you, then go ahead on and get it working. But you got to do a lot of work. You got to get your data readers out there. Then you got to get, somebody to do your editing. Uh, grammar editing. But then you also need editing for the flow of the book and stuff like that. Scenes, are the scenes in the right order, that kind of thing. And then you got to get somebody to give you a cover that makes your book look attractive, not like it looks like some cheap magazine cover. And then after all of that's done and you get it printed out, now that's another thing you got to decide. Am I going to go with Amazon? Am I going to go with Ingram Sparks? Am I going to go with some other personal thing? Am I have like 250 copies of my book sitting in my house and I gotta, sell them online or drive around in my car with them in the back trunk? You got to decide all of. And then once all that is out, then you got to do all the marketing. Then you got to go right back to the drawing board again and figure out how am I going to push the book on Instagram? How am I going to push it on TikTok? How am I going to push it on YouTube? How am I push it on Goodreads? Who am I going to give? Who am I going to strategically give away to? Am I going to just ask the biggest black bookstagrammers, or am I just going to, and that's another thing. So like if there's anybody in here that is watching who is a self-published author, and this is something I give you as just as a little tip. This little tip. When you want someone to review your book, it behooves you to look and see who that person is before you ask them, can you review my book? So, for example, I get numerous emails about reviewing people's books. Now, y'all know me in here, the ones that are commenting. Y'all know what I read. Y'all know I don't do no sci-fi. I don't do no fantasy. I don't do no horror. Okay, I don't do none of that. So why is it that I'm always getting straight up people going, hey, could you review my book? What's it about? You see the time, you like, oh, I know what it's about now. It's some, horror or some fantasy, some mess I don't read. So then you have the person will ask me, oh, you have following. Could you? It's not that I don't want to read your book. Well, it is kind of that I don't want to read because I don't read fantasy, sci-fi, and horror. That's what I don't want to read. It's you personally, okay? Or I should say your book personally. So it behooves the people who need people to push their book. Go to influencers that read the genre that you're writing. So if you're writing literary fiction, don't go ask somebody who only reads sci-fi and science, sci-fi and fantasy to read your literary fiction. Don't do that. And if you write sci-fi and fantasy, don't go to somebody who usually reads historical fiction and literary fiction and say, "Oh, read my book," because it's going to be a no every time. And it's nothing personal against you as a independent writer. It's all on me. I can't do it. I can't read the sci-fi and the fantasy. Okay, so just in case there's anybody in here, 'cause there's very few people here commenting, people that I know here, but I know there's a lot of people watching. And if anybody in there is, self-published or whatever, independent, keep this in mind. Be able to write a quick little message and tell the person, the bookstagrammer or the booktuber, tell them a little bit about who you are and your book. Don't just drop in there like, read my book. You here's the link on the thing. Leave me in a review on the Amazon, and then just be out like that. Don't be brusque. Try to be nice about it. So I feel like if you can do those two things, you could probably get a lot more people to read your book because you would be sending the email into the right box right away. And you wouldn't have to write 30 different messages to 30 different random people. You would be writing them personally to someone that you'd actually looked at their content to see exactly what they put out. It would make it a lot easier and you'd probably get better results. You'd probably get more people that would say yes. That's just me. That's what I tell people sometimes when they come in. When I see somebody that's kind of young and they're really like nervous and stuff like that, I'll just simply say, "Hey, look, you don't have to be nervous. It's nothing worse than you, but I just don't. This isn't my domain. I don't do fantasy, sci-fi, and horror." And then sometimes I'll say, "But I know this person does, or this person does," and I'll explain to them it's better for you to look for those particular influencers, then you're more likely to get a yes and you're more likely to get more eyes on your book, people who actually follow them who read that genre. But that's just me. That's my service announcement of the day. Hope it helps somebody. Let's see. Curtis said many Black authors have to work very hard to get their books. Yes, they do. This is why social media platforms are necessary for many of their work to get the attention. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get it, but they just got to get their email in the right box. The email in the right box, they're gonna be cooking with gas, as my grandmother would say. Tracy said, yes, it's essential to know the preferences. Yeah. And also to know the influencer, like, don't write me and like I get this will get I'll get stuff like this. Hello, brown girl reading. Like, come on now. At least let me know you watch one of my videos or some content on Instagram where you can at least say that my name is Dee Dee and say hello, Dee Dee. It's like, come on now. I mean, it's in my bio. Let's see. Oh, okay, Dee's reading Village Weavers and the Darkest Child. Tracy said to Curtis, the way the algorithms go on social media, daunting. Yeah, it's very daunting. Yeah, you see, this is a reason why when you decide to publish independently, you have to be aware of many different factors before you actually can say, yeah, this book is publishable and I'm going to be able to get out there, I'm going to be able to sell it. It's it's a lot of work. And you're gonna always need people to help you while you're doing it. You can't just do it all on your own. It's not possible. You're gonna need to talk to people who are like if you have an artist in your midst to help you, design a cover that looks, really, really good. Or, you're gonna need to have more than your mama and your sister and your best friend be your beta reader and your corrector. You have to have somebody who doesn't know you be your corrector. You can't just do it. You can't just do it all with your family members. It just doesn't work like that. And then with the marketing, you have to know how social media works. So if you know someone like now that you could use, like if you have like a young cousin or sister or something who's really good with social media, who can give you tips. But for the correcting, the beta reading, the cover, all of the intricacies around getting the ISBN and all the rest of that, you probably need somebody to help you with that for each one of those. And you have to keep that in mind. Yes, the algorithms are very biased, but there are ways of getting around that. Josh said some of these self-published authors need to step their editing. Child, look. That's why I said it can't be the editor can't be your mama, your sister, your cousin, and your brother. It's not gonna work. No, no. Go out and get yourself a proper one. Raymond said the last message he got from an author was for a book that was not in my preferred genre at all. It often, well, for me these days, I get a bit of both, but I get more that are not in my preferred genre. And that's just because I feel like what they're doing is they're just taking a list of, Instagrammers and they just send the message, paste and copy, and they send it to all of them. But, bro, I can't with the sci-fi. I'm sorry. I can't with the fantasy. Yeah, that's just not my thing. Let's see. Nicole said, laugh out loud. Small business people love depending on family. And it's like, look, your family is tired and broke. Well, I'm just saying, your family, unless your mama is a corrector of books in a publishing company herself, do not ask your mama, your sister, your brother, and your cousin. If none of them work in already work in publishing, nah, that ain't gonna cut it. You need somebody who really does know how to correct. Not that we don't love our family, but that's not what your family is going to help you with. If that's not their job per se, you cannot count on your mama, your brother, your cousin, and all them other people, the family. You can't. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. Not going to work. You can maybe count on your mama, your cousin, and the rest of them for like, to maybe design a book cover or something to help you design a book cover. But correcting your book is probably the most important thing. Imagine this: person contacts you, young woman. She contacted me. Oh, I have this, poetry collection. Sure, come send it on over. She sends me the book. I get the cover is quite, it's quite nice. I turn it over on the back, and there's two spelling mistakes on the back of the book. Oh my God. I was like, I can't. I cannot. Two spelling mistakes on the back of the book. And like I think it was received was wrong. And then Raymond, I was like you. I was like, cousin Pookie is not. Oh my God. So then when I saw the spelling mistakes on the back, I didn't want to read the book anymore. I threw that in a box. I didn't even get to it. Look, leave cousin Pookie for the cookout, not for, the correcting. I'm just saying. Okay? These are all tips to help those debut authors who trying to make it. I'm telling you, these things right here. Look, let Cousin Pookie celebrate your book when it comes out with the cookout, but not with editing. No, 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 ma'am. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Pants not gonna work. You know it's bad when you got two spelling mistakes on the back of the book. So God only knows what's inside the book. So that's for my, for my young edit, my young, debut writers. This is what y'all gotta contend with. I feel like if y'all ready to do all that and get the right people to help you, because it costs a little bit of money. If you want to get a good editor, it costs a little bit of money. Now I have done editing for people, but not like grammatical editing. I've done like story editing. So like I, read their manuscript and then like I'll help them and I'll say, you need to develop more on this side of the story, or why did you put this in this order? Or, I give them structural, ideas and stuff like that. But and they have to pay for that. But it's the same if you get somebody to do, grammatical editing. Can't be Pookie, can't be your mama, your cousin. No, it can't be none of them people. It got to be like somebody real. Spend extra money. It's worth it. That's all I got to say. It's worth it in the end. Your book is readable. If you don't, your book is not readable. Imagine you spend all of that money to put out a book, and you have two spell mistakes on the back of the book. But why? How awful is that? Yeah, you don't want to do that. I know, Raymond, right? If your family member hasn't read a book since they graduated from school, tell them no on editing. Look, for me, if they don't edit as a job, no, nada. Because look at it this way. Let's say you get your cousin Pookie to do it. You and Pookie are really close, y'all tight. Pookie does the editing of your book. Pookie missed the 5 spell mistakes inside the book and 2 on the back cover. You and Pookie ain't friends no more. Now you want to fight Pookie. That alone right there should make you not want to have Pookie do your editing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That ought to be enough right there. You don't want to keep doing it because Pookie gonna mess it up. If Pookie messes up, then you're gonna be mad at Pookie. You messed it up, and it's too late to change because when it's out, it's out. So if you got 10 mistakes inside the book and 2 on the back, well, all you can do is hope that nobody sees it. And God knows, we've even read books that were supposedly edited by really, really, really good editors from the big 5, and there was still an error or 2 in the book. So it should be happening when it's professionals. Now, if it's cousin Pookie with his 10 errors inside and the 2 on the back, yeah, y'all ready to fight. Ain't friends no more. Y'all cousins, but y'all ain't friends no more. See, Raymond said I would have to disown Pookie. There you go. I know. See, that's why I don't do that. Milo said a ton of Amazon self-published books are full of typos. Shaking my head. Yeah, you see, well, Amazon don't care as long as they're paying up to get their book published. And there's some people they don't care if there's errors in their book. And that don't. It's like nothing but a thing. They don't care. I care, but like some people don't care. So full on typos and all the rest of it. There's a lot to be said for the intricacies of the publishing company and like things that could be largely. This is why we have to strive towards getting, the best of our Black writers, especially ones that are really good, and they just get literally snubbed and ignored, that's when you have to start yelling about them the loudest. You know, even if you're the only one in your own little your little igloo all by yourself on the other side, you're the only one that sees it. I still feel like you should just say you have to keep going behind it and saying, "Get this book, y'all, is good. Get this book, y'all, is good." So Josh says, which makes me appreciate our celebrated authors who had to bare knuckle grassroots push through all the no's to give us exactly to great literature. Perfect example of that is Bernice L. McFadden. Go back and watch the interview that I did with her. That was back in 2020 for her 20-year anniversary of Sugar, where she talks about how many rejection letters she got for Sugar. Can you believe? And that book is awesome. Marla said, "My husband is like you. He has zero tolerance. I can't because if you start tolerating typos in books, that means that the standard is just Zippo. There ain't no standard anymore. You just write whatever you want. You know, typo, forget to write a word in a sentence. Sentences don't make no sense. Worse, wrong tense in a sentence. Annoying. Nah. I'm sorry. I'm just maybe I'm a snob, but no. But yeah, go back and look how many rejection letters she got. Bernice L. McFadden for writing Sugar, that fantastic novel that she wrote that so many people did not want to publish, mostly because it was too black. I think it's the reason why they didn't want to publish it. It was too black and it was too forward. You know. Um, well, she's got a new book coming out, Bernice. She has a new book coming out. Let me see if I can get it here. Mm, I don't know what the name of her new book is called. That's it, Firstborn Girls. That's it. That one is going to be good. See if I can get. If I can get a picture of it. Hmm. Well, they don't have it on here. Let's see if I can get it on Google. Damn, they don't have the cover. Let's see. Like this. Yeah, here we go. That's the cover. This is going to be really, really good. It's a memoir. Can't wait. The pub date on that one is March 3rd, 2025. It's now available for pre order, though. So don't forget that. March 3rd, 2025. I don't know who is it get published with. Let me just see. See, this is what it says. It says on her second birthday in 1967, Bernice McFadden died in a car crash near Detroit, only to be resuscitated after her mother pulled her from the flaming wreckage. Firstborn Girls traces her remarkable life from that moment up to the publication of her first novel, Sugar. Growing up in 1980s Brooklyn, Bernice found solace in summer trips to Barbados and boarding school to escape her alcoholic father. Discovering the works of Alice Walker and Toni Morrison, she finally sees herself and her loved ones reflected in their stories of messy, beautiful, joyful Black people. Interwoven with Bernice's personal journey is her family's history, beginning with her four times enslaved great grandmother, Louisa Vissy Wilson, in 1822 Hancock County, Georgia. Her descendants survived Reconstruction and Jim Crow, joined the Great Migration, and mourned Dr. King's assassination during the Civil Rights Movement. Women's wisdoms, secrets, and fierce love are passed down like Louisa's handmade quilt. A memoir of many threads, Firstborn Girls is an extraordinary moving portrait of a life shaped by family history and the drive to be something more. This is going to be fire. It's going to be fire. Oh, it's Dutton. Okay, that's good too. It's going to be fire. So, yeah, we have to mark that on our calendars for next year. But, to help, we could pre order that. Come on now, we could pre order that book because the pre orders do help. Yeah, I do enjoy her writing very much. I'm the same, Joss. I enjoy her writing very much. Yeah, Bernice is a really, really good writer, and she's very much she writes from feeling more than anything. She's not a writes from, and I really admire writers who can write like that because that's something special when you can kind of, you kind of know what you want to write about, and then you get this feeling, you're driven by the feeling, which helps drive your story. I think that's just amazing. So yeah, so that's gonna be really good. Okay, so anybody got any questions, concerns, anything else? Ask away if you got any questions or anything. Mm, any questions at all? Okay, so before I leave, I'll tell you again what I'm reading for people that came in. I'm gonna try to get to The Darkest Child next week. I'm in the process of finishing the Lost Love Songs of Boise Sing by Eric Perceau. And I'm also reading Paul Laurence Dunbar, The Life and Times of a Caged Bird by Jean Andrew Jarrett. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. Okay. Oh, thanks so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys. So that's it. It's Friday evening, so I am going to go. You forgot it was Friday. What? Kay. Sorry, Kay, but I'm leaving now. So Thanks for coming in and stopping. Oh, wait, there's a question. My question: can you do a small segment on learning French? Okay, could try to do something like that. Um, no, seriously, it's giving Saturday or Sunday. What? Really? Oh, that's also because y'all are coming off the 4th of July. That's why. It was my mama's birthday yesterday. My mama turned 80, y'all. Can you believe my mama is 80? Um, yes, kudos to our black historians. Yeah, because this is a black historian who wrote this one. This is a black historian who wrote that one. Yeah, you had off yesterday. I just remembered, yeah, my mama's birthday was yesterday. You're trying to learn French. Well, if you're trying to learn French, how are you trying French? Do you have a teacher or are you trying to teach yourself French? Because there's a difference. Thank you, Raymond. Yeah, she's 80. My mama getting up there. She said, "Oh, I got so many phone calls from people." And she said, "I wish I was 20 years younger, but I'm not gonna complain." She's so funny. I was like, "We could all be 20 years younger, mama." Oh, you're self-taught. Okay. So if you're self-taught, then it's more work. So you have to do the maximum. So that is, you have to listen to things on TV or on podcast. You have to brush up on your grammar, memorize your regular verbs. You just have to do a little bit of everything. It's just that when you're self-taught, it's harder because you don't have someone telling you, oh, you just memorize this and this. Oh, it's never going to be that. It's always going to be this and this. You don't have those insights. So ideally, what you should do is at some point, if you can, either enter a class online or a class in your town where you can have a teacher help you with some of those pitfalls of grammar and stuff like that. Um, no French TV. Yeah, online. You can get French TV online. Thank you, Rosa. You can get French TV online. Or you can go on YouTube, and there are French teachers on YouTube as well that are good. So yeah, you can do that. But the idea is that having a teacher helps you with the pitfalls of the grammar that you are not privy to, that you don't to notice because you're just reading it out of a book. Oh, your mom lived to 84. Wow. So yeah, so it's a lot more work than what it's a lot more work when you're doing self-taught. It's self-taught for a little bit for Italian, and then I needed to get a teacher. So I got a teacher. I did self-taught from like March to October, and then in November I got a teacher, and I've had a teacher since November, and I'm about to finish my course at the end of July. So yeah. Anyway, but I'll try and do a video on it if if you really, because talking about learning Italian and French as well. Oh, thanks so much. Okay, guys, I'm out. Have a good long weekend. Enjoy your long weekend. And I will guys next Friday. So thanks for actually dropping in on this long weekend because y'all could be doing like a cookout or something. I don't know. Y'all could be doing something else. Not necessarily talking to me, you know. So have a good one and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.